Alright, so in our next video, we're going to add hyperlinks to our web page. And in order to understand hyperlinks for this class, we need to know how to use what's called a relative URL. I recorded a different video on that, so make sure you watch that if you don't know what a relative URL is. We'll be putting it into our code, so you can certainly reference that. But we're going to go ahead and hop over to Dreamweaver. Oops, excuse me. And here's the web page that we have right now, and what we want to be able to do is add some links to our navigation. Up there, we're also going to add it to our footer, and we're even going to add one to an image. In this case, it'll be our logo. And we can even put one in content so we can see what that looks like. In Dreamweaver, here is our page. Now before we get going, we're going to need some other pages, other index.html pages to link to. Right now, as we look at our web folder, that's not the right one, here we go. You can see that we've got some pages. So there's an About page with an index, but there's an Archives, and but we don't have any index.html in other pages. So let's go ahead and create those. We're going to create just blank ones. There won't be anything on those pages yet, and we'll add content later. So in InDesign, we have an index page open already, but we're going to create a new one. It'll be a new document with an HTML, doc type HTML5. Looks good. Let's hit create. And there really isn't going to be much on here, but I'm going to go ahead and save this and say Philo, a web comic. All right, that's the title of our page. And for the body, I'm just going to go ahead and add some very basic placeholder. This is the home page. This is placeholder text for now. File. Now we're going to do Save As. Now for our home page, we want the home page to be in the root folder of our project. Right here. So it doesn't go inside any of these, it's going to sit outside, and it's going to be called index.html. Go ahead and hit save. And that particular page is going to be our home page. Now while I still have this, to create another copy of it, a couple different ways I could do that. I could go File, Save As. And instead of saving it in the same place, I can now double-click my Archives folder so that I'm in the Archives folder, and I'll name it index, the same name, index.html, and it's now saved in that thing. I'm going to go ahead. Dreamweaver is going to update the links for us, so let's go ahead and hit yes. And let's change the title to Web Comic Archives for Philo. Or we can leave for Philo off. We'll just leave Philo hyphen webcomic archives, and then I'll change this. This is the archives page. When I've got that done, I just hit save. So I've got 3 HTML pages now open in Dreamweaver, and you have to kind of keep track of which one you're working on. So this is the archives. Another way we could do this is if I was managing my folders here, you'll now see that there's an index file in archives. There's still this one in home. Now I could drag this index file, and while holding Option, drag it to the contact folder and drop a copy of that index file in there. Now if I want to edit it, I can go with edit, open with Dreamweaver, and it's going to open a fourth index. And I'll just change this to contact information. And this is the contact page. Let's go ahead and save a few more. File save as. Don't have too many more. So you could do it either way you want. So if you like copying it or pasting it, either way is fine. I'm going to go ahead and put one into my privacy policy page. So I save one there. Yes on the update links. And we'll change the title to privacy policy. It's always a good idea to have unique titles for your web pages. Privacy policy page. Hit save, and then we have a terms of use. So we'll do file save as. Find our terms of use folder and save it in there. Update links. There really aren't any links in there yet. Terms of use. And we can change the default content. This is the terms of use page. Now that we got them all in there, we can go ahead and close them and come back to our About page. So if you've done this correctly, you should be able to see your site architecture, and you should have an index page in each folder, and you should have one that's at the root folder for your project, which is your home page. Simple as that. So we're going to create links to all of these things. So here we are, we're on the About page. So the very first place we're going to change links is right here. And this is how we hand code it. So we have the words home. So we're going to create an A link around it, and it always starts off with href equals with double quotes, and then I always go ahead and add the close tag for a link, which is /A inside the angle brackets. Now for the home page isn't on the About page, so I need to tell it to look one folder up, and there should be an index.html. If you don't understand that, watch the video on relative URLs. Now if we had a website, we would just put the home page of the website, and it would be www.website, whatever your website name is, .com, and that would be the link for the home page. And we can leave index off because it knows to look for an index page. That's what it'll always look for first. Now you can include it if you like, but you can leave it off. And you can even leave off the / if you want, or you could keep it on. Some web designers or developers are going to say leave the /, but it doesn't really matter. But that would be called an absolute URL. For our project, we have to do relative URLs. And so I'm going to put /index.html. Now the About page, we're on the About page, so I have a choice here. If I want to just leave this as a dead link, I can. If you're already on a page, you don't need to make it a link, but just for good measure, let's put it in just so we know what it would actually look like. I'm going to put my A tags in. I always open it and close it, and then I add the value inside. Now since we're in the folder About already, I just put index.html, which is really the page I'm already on. So it's just going to reload itself. For archives is in a different location. So we're going to put that. We have to go up one. Then we have to go to the archives folder. And in there is an index.html file. Now, could you leave index off? You could. Okay, so on this, you could leave off index.html, and it would look for that anyway. But let's go ahead and keep it on there. Same thing's going to happen. Context should look pretty much close to the same. And we add the close tags for and then in here we're going to have /contact index.html. And obviously whatever you put in here has to be exactly correct. If you have any of this off, it's not going to work. So let's save that. Let's take a look at how it looks. These are the ones that we just applied those links to. And there they go. So the default style will have a blue with an underline as a link. That's a default style for the browser. If I click on home, it takes us to the home page. Of course, the rest of it's pretty much blank. I'll hit the back button. The about page just reloads the page I'm on. Archives page. And the contact page. Now if I actually reloaded this page, I think, no, that's it. So that's how those links work. Sometimes they'll turn purple after you've visited a link. But I think I actually have to link to that page and then actually link back. So let's go ahead and add that to our privacy policy and terms of use next, which was down in our footer. There they are. Privacy policy, ahref equals, and put in / privacy policy, folder name, and then an index.html. Terms of use. /terms of use / index.html. Just like that. Once you have that, hit save. Check for your color coordination on your code. If you've missed something, your colors could be off. Reload the page, and now we have links down here, privacy policy. And actually, on my web browser, I've got my timer in there. So there's privacy policy. Yep, that works. Terms of use also works. So great. All that's looking good. We're now going to add an in-content link. So we could add a link to something here within the site. Maybe we click on, maybe we do, let's see, let's add a link after the Odyssey, and we'll create a link to Wikipedia on that. If I went to Wikipedia, wikipedia.org, and let's do Homer's Odyssey. I'm just doing a search on Wikipedia. There it is. So it has its own URL. I'm going to copy and paste that. And then we'll come back to our web code and find where I had that. So here's Odyssey. Now anytime I have a link that's going to go somewhere else, well, let me put the link in and then I'll show you what you can do also. So here's the word, the Odyssey. So let's go ahead and make the Odyssey a link. Just like that. And even if it's inside the site tags, that's fine. And the URL I can now paste as the href. Now some people like to add target blank. Target blank, which would be another tag for the link, could be target equals underscore blank. And what that does is it opens up a new window when somebody clicks on this link. This is actually against best use, but you see a lot of people do it. The reason why this isn't best practice is, again, for accessibility. If somebody with accessibility clicked on this link, it opens up a new window. It can be hard for them to figure that out and how to close that window. Also, on mobile devices, this also can get very confusing. If it actually opens up another window and they want to get back to your site, they have to actually know how to open up all their windows on their mobile phone, close the one that they're on in order to get back to your site. So I actually recommend that you never do that, unless you think you absolutely have to. But some web designers do that. So let's save that. Let's take a look at what it looks like. Here, now the Odyssey is a link. Now, what could get confusing here is if somebody clicked on it, boom, they go to another website, and they could get surprised by that. So one thing that I suggest is to write some kind of notation next to your link if they're about to leave your website. I'll show you how that can look. So here is the Odyssey, and here was the site. So right before the paragraph ends, I'm going to do parentheses, opens. If I had to open this in a new window, I'd want to let them know opens in a new window, like so. All right. Or goes to another website. Some kind of annotation that lets them know they're about to leave your site. So I hit save. Now when I refresh this, they can see that if they click on the link, they're getting instructions that this is going to take them to another website. Some people use icons. If you get good at what are called icon fonts, maybe we'll do that later in this class, is we'll create an icon that shows that they're going to go to another page, so that, and it actually becomes part of the link instead of having to type and annotate something like this. So that's how we create an in-content link to another site. We could do an in-content link to one of our own pages if we wanted to, but I think you get the idea. I'm going to add one more link, and that's to the logo to take us back to the home page. Quite often, the logo, a lot of people have learned that the logo is a link back to the home page. So let's go ahead and create that. And the way to think about this is we've had something called anchor text. So when we had Odyssey, you'll notice right here the word Odyssey is in between the A tags. That's called anchor text. That's the term we use for it. And then we can treat the logo as anchor text. So here's the image. So instead of text, we have an image. So we're going to put the A tags on each side of the image, just like so, and then close it after the image. So now the image, in essence, becomes the anchor tag. And that should look pretty much the same as the home tag here. So the relative URL is going to be index.html. Go ahead and save that. And we'll refresh our page in Firefox. Now you'll notice that as you hover over the logo, you get the finger in the hand, and it's now a link to the home page. Pretty simple. Now there's two more links that we want to add. We're going to call these jump down navigation. And it's actually something you see a lot on Wikipedia. So if we go back to Wikipedia, I guess I shouldn't have left that page, and we had Odyssey. You can just about look up any subject. Let me show you what we're talking about. Maybe I spelled Odyssey. No, I spelled it right. They have a content section, and these are all what are called anchor text. So as you click on them, it takes you down the page. See how it brought me back down, or how it brought me down to dating the Odyssey. I can come back up and click other links on that. Here's text history. Jumps me right straight down to text history. All right, so that's essentially what we're doing, building much of the same thing. And we'll come back. We need to add a little navigation first. So here we are in our main, and here's our article, and we have a section. So I'm going to recommend that you do this before your first section after the article. So this is going to be another nav. And we'll go ahead and create an unordered list. And in each unordered list, we have a list item. We're just going to do 2. And right before the nav, on its own line, maybe I add a paragraph just to make sure things are okay. We're going to type in the words jump down to with a colon. Our first one is going to be called main character. And our next one is going to be called the world of Philo. Just like that. So let's go ahead and save it. We can see what this looks like. So we've added sort of like a mini navigation here. Now we're going to add the links for that. But before that, we have to create IDs for our section. But we've already done that. You can see that we've got different sections named. This one's called the world of Philo. And this one's called main character. I'm not going to worry about the section called about since it's right there. All right? I won't need to jump down that far. So since I've already named this ID main character, the link for main character, let's go ahead and add our A tags. href equals. I'm going to go ahead and put it behind both. All right. To do this, we need to have the ID name. We're going to copy it exactly as it is. Now in this case, it's okay to have capital letters and a space. But in here, we have to have a jump down start with a pound sign. And then you put in the name of the ID. Just like that. And this has to be exactly the same. So then for the world of Philo, we put in pound tag the world of Philo. Let's save it and see how this works. They become links. If I click on main character, it jumps me to more about the character Philo. I come back up, I can click on the world of Philo, and it jumps me down to that section. So those are jump down menus. Likewise, at the bottom, you can do this whether you want to or not. This is sort of an advanced little trick, but up here at the body, actually we could put it on the header. You could put an ID for our header. ID equals top. Any HTML element can be given an ID. It really doesn't change anything visually for it, but what I can do with this now is at the very bottom, maybe even after my footer, I can add a paragraph. Yeah, this should be fine. And we'll write in back to top. We'll create a link. You don't have to do this if you want to. Some websites have a button for back to top, some don't. And we just put in pound top because that's what we named the header. It was even with a capital T. So let's save that. Take a look at what that looks like. Refresh. Down at the very bottom of our page, we have a back to top link. And if I click it, Shazam, takes us to the top of our website. All right, that's a pretty good encompassing lesson on adding links to your website.